My daughter Maya adjusted her new hearing aid at the dinner table, her small fingers careful around the delicate device. She was 6 years old and still learning to navigate the world with her recent diagnosis. The audiologist had fitted it just 3 weeks ago and she was doing remarkably well with the adjustment. "What is that thing on her ear?" my sister Jennifer asked loudly, pointing across the table. "It looks like some kind of robot attachment." Maya's hand froze halfway to her water glass. My husband, David, tensed beside me, but I placed a gentle hand on his arm. "It's a hearing aid," I said quietly. "Maya has moderate hearing loss." "A hearing aid?" Jennifer laughed, looking around at our parents, our brother Tom and his wife, Catherine. "At 6 years old? Well, that's unfortunate," my mother said. "Have you considered less visible options?" "This is the most effective option for her development," I explained. "Development," my father repeated. "Is she going to need special accommodations?" "She's in a regular classroom," I said. "More equipment," Jennifer sighed. "This is what happens when you wait until your mid-30s to have children." Maya's face crumpled slightly. She understood more than they thought. The hearing aid amplified their cruel words perfectly. "That's enough," David said, his fork clattering against his plate. "Oh, don't be so sensitive," my father interjected. "Jennifer's just concerned. We all are. These things affect the whole family." "How exactly does Maya's hearing aid affect you?" I asked, keeping my voice level. "Well, there's the social aspect," my mother said delicately. "People notice. They ask questions. Your sister's children go to Westbrook Academy. They have friends whose parents know our family. It reflects on all of us." I looked at my niece and nephew, 12-year-old Sophie and 10-year-old Nathan, who were studying their plates in uncomfortable silence. Both attended the prestigious Westbrook Academy, where tuition ran $45,000 per year per child. "It's just a joke, Claire," my father added when I didn't respond. "Lighten up. You've always been too sensitive." Maya's eyes were filling with tears. She'd been so excited to come to family dinner, to show everyone her new device. "Maybe this is why Robot Girl doesn't talk much," Jennifer said to her wine glass. "The equipment doesn't work properly." David stood up abruptly, his chair scraping against the hardwood floor. The sound silenced the table. He walked calmly to the front door and opened it, standing beside it without saying a word. My father laughed nervously. "David, what are you doing?" David simply gestured toward the open door, his expression completely neutral. "Are you seriously asking us to leave?" Jennifer demanded, her voice rising. "Over a joke? This is ridiculous." "Out," David said quietly. It was the only word he spoke. I gathered Maya into my arms. She buried her face against my shoulder. "This is absurd," my mother protested, reaching for her purse. "We're your family." David remained by the door, silent. They left in a flutter of indignation, my father muttering about disrespect, Jennifer shooting wounded looks over her shoulder. My mother paused at the threshold. "You'll regret this," she said. When the door closed behind them, the house felt instantly peaceful. Maya lifted her head from my shoulder. "Are they mad at me?" she asked, her voice small. "No, sweetheart," I said, smoothing her hair. "They're wrong and they're going to learn that." David sat back down beside us, his hand finding mine. "I'm sorry," he said. "I know you wanted to handle it your way." "You did exactly right," I told him. That night, after Maya fell asleep, I sat at my desk and opened my laptop. The spreadsheet I'd been maintaining for 6 years glowed on the screen. A detailed record of every payment, every transfer, every bill I'd quietly covered for my family. Westbrook Academy tuition for Sophie and Nathan. $90,000 annually, paid through an educational trust I'd established. My parents' country club membership. $18,000 annually. My father's luxury car lease. $1,400 monthly. My mother's preferred specialists, the ones outside her insurance network. Approximately $3,200 monthly. Tom's business loan, the one that kept his struggling consulting firm afloat. $5,000 monthly. The company I'd founded, a medical device manufacturer specializing in audiology equipment, had gone public 2 years ago. The IPO had valued it at $1.8 billion. My shares alone were worth approximately $400 million. I'd kept this information private, living modestly, driving a 7-year-old sedan wearing department store clothes. I'd wanted my family to value me for who I was, not what I could provide. But they'd never valued me at all. I'd been the backup plan, the responsible one, the person who quietly fixed problems while they took credit for success and mocked my perceived failures. I opened my banking portal and began canceling automated payments. Each click felt like cutting a thread that had been strangling me for years. The next morning, my phone began ringing at 6:45. I was making Maya breakfast while she practiced identifying sounds with her hearing aid. Jennifer's name flashed on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. 3 minutes later, Tom called. Then my mother. Then my father. At 7:30, my mother's text arrived. Westbrook Academy called. They say the trust fund payments have been suspended. There must be a banking error. I responded, no error. I've withdrawn all education funding. My phone exploded with calls. I silenced it and drove Maya to school, watching her run toward her classroom. Her teacher waved through the window. By the time I returned home, there were 17 missed calls and 34 text messages. I read through them systematically. Jennifer, you can't do this. Sophie and Nathan's education isn't a game. My father, this is childish. We can discuss it like adults. Tom, my business account shows a failed transfer. We need to talk. I called Jennifer back first. She answered on the first ring. What the hell are you doing? She demanded. Westbrook just said Sophie and Nathan's tuition hasn't been paid. I've canceled the educational trust, I said calmly. The one I established 6 years ago. What trust? The trust funded by my company, Auditech Solutions. We manufacture hearing aids. We went public 2 years ago. Silence stretched long enough that I checked to see if the call had dropped. You don't have a company, Jennifer finally said. I'm the founder and CEO. We went public 2 years ago. The Wall Street Journal covered it. This is insane, she whispered. The trust helped your children access quality education. But last night you mocked my daughter's disability, called her robot girl. So I've reassessed my support. It was a joke, Jennifer said desperately. You know I didn't mean anything by it. Actually, I don't know that. What I know is that you humiliated a 6-year-old child at a family dinner. My family's financial situation has changed accordingly. Claire, please. Sophie and Nathan's education can be funded by their parents, I interrupted gently. You and your husband both work. You have options. Public schools, scholarship applications. The same options you probably assumed I had when you were mocking my daughter's medical device. I ended the call and immediately dialed the country club's billing department. This is Claire Morrison. I need to cancel the family membership under the Henderson account. The representative pulled up the account. Mrs. Morrison, you're listed as the payment guarantor. Are you aware this will affect 4 family members' access? I'm aware. Please proceed with immediate cancellation. My father called 30 seconds after I hung up. What is happening? He demanded without preamble. Your mother just received a call from the club. They're saying our membership has been canceled. And her doctor's office is asking for a new payment method. I've canceled all the recurring payments I've been making on your behalf, I explained. The country club membership, Mom's out-of-network specialists, your car lease, Tom's business support. All of it. You've been making payments? His confusion was genuine. What are you talking about? Dad, where did you think the money was coming from? Your insurance doesn't cover Mom's preferred oncologist. Your portfolio took major losses in 2020. Tom's consulting business operates at a deficit. I've been covering approximately $18,000 monthly in family expenses for the past 6 years. That's impossible, he said flatly. You don't have that kind of money. I have considerably more than that kind of money. I built a medical device company that revolutionized affordable hearing aid technology. We have contracts with 16 countries and supply chain partnerships with every major audiology clinic in North America. Last quarter's revenue was $230 million. I could hear him breathing, processing information that didn't fit his understanding of his disappointing daughter, the one who had never quite lived up to expectations. Why would you cancel our support over a simple misunderstanding? He finally asked. It wasn't a misunderstanding. Jennifer deliberately mocked Maya's hearing aid. You told me to lighten up when I objected. Mom suggested we hide Maya's medical device because it might embarrass the family socially. This wasn't an accident of poor phrasing. This was your collective decision to treat my child as a shameful burden. We didn't mean it that way, he protested weakly. How did you mean it then? Explain to me the kind interpretation of calling a disabled child robot girl at a family dinner. He had no answer. The Westbrook tuition bills will arrive in 10 days, I continued. $90,000 for both children. The country club will bill Mom's account directly starting next month. Your car lease payment is due in 3 weeks. Tom's business loan installment is scheduled for the 15th. These are all your responsibilities now. Claire, be reasonable. We can't afford all of that. Then you'll need to make choices. The same choices you assumed I was making while raising a child with medical needs. Downsize your lifestyle. Use in-network doctors. Drive a more modest car. Explore public school options. These are all perfectly reasonable solutions you'd probably recommend to me. My mother grabbed the phone. Sweetheart, please. We love you and Maya. Last night was unfortunate, but we're family. Family doesn't mock a child's disability, I said quietly. Family doesn't suggest hiding medical equipment out of social embarrassment. Family doesn't assume financial struggles while benefiting from hidden support. We didn't know you were helping us financially, she said desperately. You never asked. You never wondered how a single mother with a medically complex child seemed so calm about bills. You built a narrative about my failures and stopped seeing the reality in front of you. Tom called as soon as I disconnected. His voice was panicked. Claire, my business account is overdrawn. The loan payment didn't transfer. What's going on? I've stopped covering your business loan, I said simply. What business loan? I never took a loan from you. You took one from First National Bank 6 years ago, when your consulting firm was failing and you were about to lose everything. I've been making the monthly payments since then. $5,000 a month for 72 months. That's $360,000 total, by the way. You never questioned why the bank stopped sending payment reminders. Oh my God, he breathed. I thought the bank had some kind of grace period program. The program was me. It's ending now. Why? Because of Jennifer's stupid comment last night. Because all of you decided that my daughter's medical device was an appropriate target for mockery. Because when I objected, Dad told me to lighten up. Because Mom suggested we make Maya's hearing aid less visible to protect the family's social standing. Because not one of you considered how your words affected a 6-year-old child. We'll apologize, Tom said quickly. We'll make it right. Apologies don't undo the damage. Maya cried herself to sleep last night. She asked me if she was broken, if her hearing aid made her less lovable. Those are questions no child should have to ask because their family mocked them at dinner. I ended the call and turned off my phone completely. The next few days brought a cascade of consequences. Jennifer withdrew Sophie and Nathan from Westbrook Academy and enrolled them in the local public school. My parents canceled their country club membership and started seeing in-network doctors. Tom's consulting business officially filed for bankruptcy protection, forcing him to take a corporate position he'd previously considered beneath him. My father sold his luxury car and bought a used sedan. My mother joined a regular gym instead of her private Pilates studio. The family group chat, once full of updates about vacations and social events, went completely silent. 2 weeks after the dinner, my mother showed up at my door. I let her in. I need to understand, she said. Why you never told us about your success. Would it have changed how you treated me? I asked. She considered this honestly. Probably. Yes. That's why I didn't tell you. I wanted you to value me as a person, not as a resource. We did value you, she protested. Name one time. She couldn't. You celebrated Jennifer's wedding. Tom's promotion. But when I finished my MBA, you said it was nice. When I founded my company, you asked when I'd get a real job. We were concerned, she said weakly. You were disappointed. And I accepted that. I built my company anyway. I became successful beyond anything you imagined. And I used that success to help you because I believe that's what family does. And we ruined it, my mother said, tears starting. By being cruel to a child. By showing me that no amount of help would earn genuine respect. That you'd mock my daughter's disability while cashing checks funded by the technology that helps her. My mother left without asking for the financial support to be restored. That surprised me. A month later, Maya came home excited about an art project. She'd drawn our family, me, David, and herself. No grandparents. No aunt or uncle. No cousins. Is this our family? I asked. Yes, she said confidently. The people who love me. She adjusted beautifully to her hearing aid. Her teachers reported significant improvement. She made friends who thought her hearing aid was cool. She was thriving without the weight of family judgment. And so was I. The money I'd been spending on my family, I redirected to a foundation supporting children with hearing loss. Scholarships for hearing aids, research grants, summer camps where kids with hearing devices could be themselves. My family's consequences continued. They downsized, adjusted, learned to manage with less. They learned what I'd been doing for years while they mocked my perceived failures. And Maya learned something more important. That her worth wasn't determined by people too small to see it. That her hearing aid wasn't a flaw to hide but a tool that helped her experience the world. That family means people who celebrate you, not people who tolerate you while benefiting from your success. The Henderson family image survived their financial adjustments. They just survived without my invisible support holding them up while they held me down.